Now, this week, the word athleisure, well, what's the word coming to with the English language? Athleisure. It was added to America's lexicon. It's been defined as clothing worn for both exercise and general use. So I guess it's not surprising because it's everywhere.
It is everywhere. I will confess to being someone who probably wears a lot of that, and not specifically for exercise. So we have the dictionary definition, but what does it mean for our wardrobe? Well, fashion writer Patty Huntington has joined us this morning to explain. It is, in fact, as you've noted, quite a phenomenon that we're seeing.
And we're very disappointed you're not wearing it, Patty.
I was tempted, believe me, in a sweatband.
Yeah.
But it is just omnipresent, as you will have noticed wherever you go. Yeah. And the dictionary is casual clothing that's designed to be used for exercise and for general use. And look, it's been around for a very long time in streetwear. This is an Olympics year. Whether that's got anything to do with it, I don't think so.
Are you actually going to see people walking around like this, though?
You do.
This is from Australian Fashion Week last year. An Australian brand called We Are Handsome, which is swimwear, and they've launched an activewear line. Now, Australian Fashion Week, recognising the athleisure juggernaut, is actually dedicating a whole day to swimwear and activewear next month. So it's the whole sporting sort of clothing and footwear industry is $270 billion, grew 42% over the past 7 years. The Australian fitness activewear sort of segment is about $1.9 billion and I think grew 8%. And interestingly, the Australian Sporting Goods Association recently released a report suggesting that women's activewear sales increased 50% in the last couple of years. So it's fashion, and it's functional fashion. And you've got also this fitness boom with a rise in sort of, cut rate sort of 24/7 gym memberships, yoga. I mean, I myself am a recent
devotee.
That's right, to yoga, and of course you've got celebrities launching activewear lines, and they say that sort of the celebrity activewear line is the new celebrity perfume. I mean, Beyonce's line Ivy Park launched last week, and it's close to selling out. And I must say, in my yoga studio, it took a couple of days before I started seeing these giant Ivy Park. And I must say, I found it quite distracting of my yoga practice. The other brands have got little discreet logos, and theirs is Ivy Park.
Am I right in that she was accused of ripping off another brand?
Lululemon.
Right.
That's Lululemon, which is the massive yoga brand that they say has been an athleisure pioneer. Now, it's a Canadian brand. It's got about $2 billion in sales, and look, they've been people criticise them for their very expensive yoga pants, and at one point they had to recall them because they were too transparent.
Wow.
And it was a bit inappropriate when people were doing a downward dog in Lululemon yoga pants in the gym. But yes, anyone who does yoga pants, I imagine Lululemon is going to criticise. But Beyonce's got a sort of a massive thing happening in a couple of hours called Lemonade. No one knows what it is, whether it's a whole activewear extension line or a new album. That's happening in a couple of hours in the US.
Yep.
She's a busy, busy woman. But it'll be interesting to see because traditionally Australia has been quite strong in terms of swimwear. So one would imagine that in terms of activewear that perhaps we would see a place for Australian designers there too.
Absolutely, and I think it's going to be, they pushed Australian Fashion Week back a few weeks to May this year to try and align itself with the resort collections internationally. And I think adding this day, of course, we've always done great swimwear. Surfwear was born in Australia. Well, it wasn't born in Australia, but we took it, the bull by the horns and sort of...
took it off the beach onto the street.
Well, we did. And also, there were South African brands, but the Australian brands were really strong. So I think, and interestingly, they've scored quite a big sort of get in Cynthia Rowley, who's a New York-based designer who does, regular fashion, also swimwear. And a couple of years ago, she's a surfer herself, launched a line of high fashion sort of wetsuits, which are really colour blocked and quite attractive. So she's actually coming down to unveil her resort collection in Sydney next month, which is it could be the sign of things to come. They actually may start to lure more international brands. Who knows? Would Rip Curl, Billabong, Quicksilver, would they ever participate in Australian Fashion Week? I don't know, because they don't see themselves as fashion, and yet they're selling a lot of fashion.
Patty, am I right in saying that you have to be self-confident, you have to have a good body image to wear this gear?
Well, I suppose so, but I think you see a lot of people, the general public is sort of wearing. There's criticism that some people shouldn't be wearing sort of, the leggings out in the street, but if they feel confident and I mean, they are really comfortable. I mean, they're the new kind of, skinny jeans, aren't they? I mean, they are the new skinny jeans. So, and I think a lot of people are sort of going to the gym, and there's a lot, increased awareness of obesity and sugar levels. I mean, they're talking about, it being the end of Coca-Cola because of the I Quit Sugar campaign. So I'm not sure there's been that much of a dent in obesity rates, but there certainly is much more of a fitness mentality. I mean, we had the same thing in the 80s, don't forget, with the rise of sort of Jane Fonda and the fitness videos, and now it's coming back again.
Let's get physical.
That's
Living
right.
in John.
Absolutely.
She had a place. Now, for some of us, though, it might be more about the comfort factor, and I'll point to a little bit of a comedy skit that has been on YouTube trending recently, and I must say I do identify with this as well. It's all about the activewear.
That's right.
Good. You up to the gym? No, I'm just going shopping.
Activewear. Buying groceries in my activewear. Activewear.
Having coffee with my friends in my activewear.
Activewear.
Going to the movies in my activewear.
Activewear. Get a manicure in my activewear.
Showing off my baby in my activewear.
I drink Coke Zero in my activewear.
Waiting for the bus in my activewear.
Buying activewear in my activewear.
Yes, I perhaps don't necessarily do
I think I've seen those
exercise
people
in my activewear.
down at a local shopping centre.
Is there a
That's
place where activewear shouldn't be worn?
Well, yes, and in fact, as activewear sort of continues to roll on, there was some controversy a couple of weeks ago in the UK with a British news anchor of the Newsnight, Kirsty Walk from the BBC's Newsnight, actually wore a high fashion tracksuit pant, which I think cost a couple of $100, and with the 3 stripes down the side, and it wasn't sort of Adidas, but it was
Still a bit of subliminal advertising, perhaps.
Well, I mean, I think those stripes have kind of become just, generic, really.
Right.
But she was widely ribbed for that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, last week, Kim Kardashian was also widely ribbed for wearing, again, Adidas under an evening dress. So it's just kind of permeated everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask, I mean, are there any places where you cannot wear this gear? And I was going to say the workplace, but obviously you can.
Well, that's right. I mean, where are your high fashion tracksuits? No, I mean, one UK paper sort of asked, is the tracksuit the new power suit? Because of these, in the sort of high fashion sort of runway area, we've had a number of brands like Chloe and Lacoste and a brand called Vetements doing these, $2,000 luxury tracksuits. So, 10 years ago, it was all about sort of juicy couture and the sort of the pastel coloured terry. I mean, that they sort of died a natural death. But I mean, as I said, it's and we are going into the Olympics. So I mean, that always spurs some kind of interest, not only in fitness but in sports clothing usually.
Well, it certainly makes fashion much more accessible.
It does.
Doesn't it?
Does exactly.
Because I can certainly aspire to wearing some tracksuit pants, whereas haute couture is probably a little bit beyond me.
Well, just wait for those tracksuits to appear on the haute couture runway, and then we'll see.
Is this the direction, though, that fashion's taking? It's becoming more user friendly and that it's comfortable. I mean, that's what it should be about, surely.
Well, you could say that, but I mean, look, some of the sort of the shoes that we saw on the last sort of runway round were sort of like stacked platform shoes. So I mean, whether that's just for the show, there are going to be people who wear those out and about.
Yeah.
But look, I don't know. I mean, is a British newsreader sort of wearing a pair of high fashion tracksuit pants in the studio the sign that it sort of jumped the shark? Possibly. Oh, we're going to see Barack Obama sort of wearing a tracksuit, sort of, I'm not sure, probably out and about while he's running and stuff.
Well, it's true. We did see a bit of our politicians wearing various forms of activewear. John Howard with his famous tracksuit.
Exactly.
Well, we have
Tony
become more
Abbott
casual.
with
I mean, for heaven's sake, I'm not wearing a tie. I think, you wouldn't have seen that 10 years ago.
No, very true, very true. No, look, it serves a purpose. It's not just a fashion trend. I mean, it is a fashion trend, but it serves a purpose in that people are going to the gym, they're doing yoga. There's a huge yoga boom in the US, and this sort of stuff serves a purpose.
All right, well, it's good to know that I'm in fine company with my leggings and my tracky bag. Patty Huntington, always great to talk to you. Thank you.
My pleasure.